Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Checking in on gold, miners, the dollar on the daily, this 10-day moving average resistance, rejecting the price again. High of Friday, 126. High of today, 125. Very clear resistance. We are on the verge of this bullish MACD cross, but if we can't get over this 10-day moving average resistance of 104 cents, the bulls aren't going anywhere. So we're getting tighter and tighter between that resistance, and 99.43 must hold support. So let's see how that weekly chart is starting out to start this week. And it's pretty much all about 99.43 support. The bulls are going to be looking to try and form a bullish reversal candlestick after a month of downside. But as of right now, they're not seeing much follow through. The hourly time frame, we have that double top of resistance, still maintaining some higher lows to be watching, but it's all about the 10-day moving average resistance, just like it was for gold on this bounce when it began. So looking at gold, perfect follow through, really strong. And we saw Friday, the highest close that we had seen on this move, right at that 1220 resistance level. Big time follow through. We were looking at resistance of 1232.92 from this little bounce attempt. We got right through that. We're up at the high still. The next resistance I'm looking at is this previous support right here. Now resistance. And that was a consolidation low down at 1. Make that 1241.27. So putting a resistance line there. And that's the next level to be watching. And there's not a ton of resistance at these levels, so bulls certainly benefiting from that. And we can see an extremely strong candlestick. Bullish MACD cross on the daily, close at the high, beautiful higher low and higher high. And this was a really big day for the miners. I can't remember the last day that the miners had 20% plus gains without having both the market and gold going in the same direction. This was all gold today as SPY was holding on. There was no big time pullback, but it certainly was not seeing upside momentum. Silver, we did break resistance. The high of last week was 1771, and we did get up above that level. So this is going to be the highest close we've seen on this move as well. Silver is still strong, and it's lagging behind gold a little bit today, but we look back at where we are relative to previous levels, and back in October, and pretty much all of October, is where we are currently trading on silver. And if we look at gold and compare where it was, you can see we're still below these levels. So gold is still a bit behind where silver is in terms of previous price levels on this bounce playing out. So keeping an eye on silver, again, there's some subtle clues that you can get from one to the next. And right now it's telling us that the bulls are in control of both. So want to look at gold first. Gold is Rheingold Resources, GOLD ticker. This is by member request, and we have a big time high volume breakout, the highest volume that we have seen in over a month. And it's a very similar chart to the miners. We held the middle Bollinger Band support, and now we are breaking out above the upper Bollinger Band and closing at the high of the day. The weekly time frame is very similar as well. Same bounce playing out, higher lows, higher highs, and a very strong start to this week. The next resistance is 93.87. We've got the 50-week resistance at 91.94. And the question is going to be, how much further upside are we going to get in gold before we consolidate again, which is going to obviously lead to consolidation in the miners and individual names like gold. But as of right now, no wick, no sign of profit taking in consolidation. The hourly RSI is fairly high. It's up around 80. Let's check out that 4-hour RSI. These are on gold that I'm looking at now, the commodity. So the RSI on the hourly and the 4-hour is pretty overbought. I really like this uptrend support line on the hourly to be watching as it's hit the price a few times, and it is nice and steady and we could pull back significantly and still maintain the support. So that's currently, if we were to pull back drastically, we would be hitting that level around 1220, previous resistance, now support. So I will be keeping an eye on this uptrend line going forward, expecting some consolidation overnight in gold, but again, bulls in full control. So breakout mode on the daily for gold. Let's check the miners GDX. Continuing to break out above the upper Bollinger Band 3 days in a row. All moving averages are now support. Nice spike in bull volume compared to the previous 3 days. Close at the high of the day. And we need to keep updating this upper Bollinger Band at the open. It's now rising pretty rapidly, but as long as we keep closing above it, the bulls maintain control. So we are now looking at this high of 25.86 on the bounce attempt back in October, and we are currently about 44 cents away from that level. So watching very close to see if this lower high pattern gets broken. And again, higher lows every single week on this bounce, maintaining. That is a very strong uptrend, and there's no sign of that changing with the price currently well above the low of last week. GDXJ also seeing a big time move. Look at that huge candlestick. Highest volume we've seen in almost a month, and a very, very strong breakout. So we look at where we stand on the weekly time frame. 41.34 was that resistance, and JNUG is more bullish. By breaking that level, it is now breaking this lower high pattern. So we had another lower high that broke the first one. Both of the bull miners broke those levels a while ago, but now this is really starting to prove the trend change is entirely possible to return back towards those highs because we are breaking these lower high patterns. So just like we're looking at on the hourly time frame for, let's actually make that the daily time frame for gold, where we were looking at these little bounce attempts that led to continuation to the downside. Well, we know that we're strong every one of those that we break, and we broke another one today. Same thing with these miners on the weekly, as we're looking at these bounce attempts that rejected the price, and we made a bull break today on GDXJ. Next resistance we're looking at is 44.01 and then up to 46.88. So again, for GDX to be in the same spot, we're going to have to see some catch up here and a break of 25.86, and then we would be looking up at 28.48. So in terms of the overall weekly price action and how far bouncing back we have come, the junior miners are in control with a stronger day today and some really big time follow through. So the bulls have full momentum. Keep in mind we could see some overbought consolidation overnight, which certainly would not be bearish as long as we keep higher low patterns on the hourly. And this daily chart, for these daily charts, watch those daily upper Bollinger Bands, because as long as they hold, we know the bulls are in full-on breakout mode. So these bear miners are dumping, and the bull miners are in full control, and no sign of that changing anytime in the near-term future. So I appreciate you watching. We will check back in tomorrow and see if this momentum continues to the upside. I hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you soon.